Wadau, ladies and gentlemen, tiedero it is. Kakumigo imbaka usiepa. Karibu Mike.
Ero kamano.
Usiepa masije. It's been a minute. Omero waromo kendo.
Ero kamano.
Ano ka wangiler madamu riti?
Hotemo.
Nyakumabura neno ko sani gini wangi pichni we.
Nyanya kachi.
Oh.
Nyakoguta.
Mageni nyiri makiwalo to riye mokuongo.
Makara kadok nyombo kendo.
Nyanya kachi riye mokuongo.
Pura kadoka nyomba nyomba.
But there is this thing about kidwa nyombo kaluo waka. Tichim kanyi. Maybe they were biased how do I put it? Biased statistics. But iwacho ni chim karachuonyo. Chim nyakach. Chim nyasako bungu. Mago nyiri ma ochung kar tiede onyisi ni dhi to kodhi. To in nyakinyoroka.
Koro I'm very lucky. Ni menwa nyakarachuonyo.
Wow.
To jawara nyakachi.
Oh, nice. Ne jo nyakach duto waduoko nwero kamano. Pongezi kwenyu nyakach ka jalo ne piny maber. Ingeno kach bendo wero ni kata kiloko dak na dag sonduo kach.
Jathum ma poko wero nyakach poko wero nyako mohero. Mano poro to.
Magana John mapako nyoremo ni
poko nyombo.
Ni nyoremo yobo jogi.
Nyaka chieng no wero nyakach.
Omeri wachano. Nyagem koremo.
Opija to bete ma jonge gen to mana.
Nyanya kach. Omer lambo into ni
kendi ngeni CJ to kendo koro dwag.
Omagni.
Omer director.
Binyombo komedi gi fair. Ko choka mera utu ko duru.
Omer ko in jaodi. Sao chiko sa roboto lel ni dala gitu podo lao ma tiende dodio.
Ana anyomo nyar go dalo. Jaka ngeso. Nyaka magamo.
Aigeni kama magamo to chwe some. Monto techa.
Adiri.
Jado baro buku bwana.
Sot Nyanza kuma buko ko ngodonje. En karachuonyo.
Manta diri.
Gi kama gambo.
Yes.
Kama gambo bange.
Kama gambo jisome.
Kama gambo onyono bu.
Kama gambo jisome. Kama gambo is good, yeah.
Aningeni angeyo ni karachuonyo ka? To gi jo majo kandito somo. Joko ndingmon. Olareka jokochia. Jokochia jo rangwe. Beno dong rangwe kache korgi shem beno chuodho. Kacha bich dhano dhanje buku ma ji ne beto odugo somo bange to korgi neto ka.
To thuru.
Wanje seme jama rieko.
To thuru golamba.
Amara gweng.
Meran koro wakwadhi ure. Anyway, chon te. Juro wacho ni
chon te.
Inyalo bedo ni kuongo yudo information. To nitimo kod yango.
Mana dieri.
Okadi nai.
Nitie ko moko ma jomoko ng'en rieko no donjo ne gi to kongo rano te.
Yes.
Mano be nitiere.
Yes.
Anyway, this discussion for another day. But I like it. You wacho ni education is an equalizer.
Definitely.
And we must ensure ni society marwa dhano nyaka dhanj book.
Ineno. The reason why education is equalizer. Nyithindo teko chopo secondary school, high school. Biro ko uniform machal. Kato no kili mana gi ndege, okeli ga ng'oto kasi school. Uromo. Education ka university ka joseromo. Te un comrades. Koro wiye magole oko. Waseneno ka education nyalo golo ng'ato min gi mana nyimo kongo makete bed daktari kumoro mo bed dhano.
A lot of our fathers, are taught using Kong.
Yes.
Until Moi decided to make it illegal around 1988, 1987. So, book nyaka wadhanji.
Nyaka.
Now, that you mentioned book nyaka wadhanji. Omera, county wa Migori ka. So far wan gi Kitere University.
Rongo.
Dong en Kitere malubas.
Ene we got Kitere.
Wan gi Rongo University.
Wan gi Rongo University.
Koro Kitere.
En village.
Iwinjo Kitere and just the place kumantie. But the name of university and Rongo University.
Sani koren fully fledged.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It has been.
With the it is chartered.
And since when?
And almost 5.
Ouru gave them charter.
Ouru manome gi charter.
Yes.
This is the same time manomiyo jotombo yaka be nomiyo chata koso joka pod ni maboma seno. Joka ni boma seno pod.
Joka pod boma seno.
Joka ni pod boma seno.
Yes.
So jogi mano gol Moi.
Yes.
Gichano chako gi Moi donge. So university mo godo county kacha en Rongo.
Kende.
The whole of Migori County, which is sufficient.
Yes, exactly.
Ok ni kende ni podudwa medo moro. For me, it's just sufficient.
There's a college Marakisi within Migori, but the entire Migori County, it is Rongo University ma dominate. Be mane mawana go public university.
Don't you think near Jokama? Sana wanjuluo we pegged our things. Yonya paru unogeri kata kene gompira chon. To baba nenya penji ni omere gompira yonge book minyalo som. So I would say especially generation mawan wadonge joka noko believe sana talent ni nyalo chudo. So education in gima duong' ahinya. So a society mon go kawuono itemo ng'iyo osaketwa ni wane county levels donge. Tiene ni piny bro chopo kumoro ma at least kumwae onego beni un gi gimoro amora. In go hospital man gi gimoro amora. In gi skunde from piny nyaka malo. Makija Migori, tinyalo somo Migori, mitiek Migori mikitiyo ticha kitie Migori.
Yes.
Masamo Kisumu idhi dhi malimbe, ame dhi maneno Kisumu. Gikuma Rongo chopeni. Conversation mane mparo ni wanyalo bedo godo mondo waen sure ni university as much as university en gir sirikal mangungu. But at the end of the day en gima wane ma wan godo gweng'wa kacha to wane mobokonyo donge. Ipani discussion mane mwanyalo bedo godo kata gi around leaders wa manyalo enhance ni Rongo cha. Or donge yo makare mambele ka wambe korono na gi university maber e gweng' ma Migori kacha cha.
Aparo ni gima wanyakwa wago loko penjo maler en ni kikwa kao siasa marwa mar piny to kete weche somo. Obeda jonyiego nwadwaro education, wadwaro gima ber, wabug girwa to kikwa rwake siasa. Ng'e neno ka gino nyodwa chando Moi University kai.
Ok neno dwa chando moketho.
Oketho kabisa. Rongo University sama ichake, I was in Moi Institute by then. So I'm at least aware how Rongo became to be. Odalo jaka ngeso no chungi Rongo. Manyaka jokman pinge within Moi Institute of Technology. No yigo mogiko neno oketo Rongo University. And therefore I give him credit on that. Odalo no sponsor nyithindo man wa capable C+ and above man dwaro timo course. No ensure ni Marungu no kelo. Then it went out. Tekuma kaka Rungo no chakore. That's how it came to be.
What's your view on this, CJ?
First and foremost, Okmora ni one university almost every county. University education okay gire high school moro ma obedo gi extra county university, extra county schools. Keche university according to the design highest level of education might high across the nation to biro some. The moment wada ka university be waketo each and every constituency, each and every county, obedo ka education ma university wa localized. Nyithindo ma that locality ema the university makanya. But ebodo ka exposure ma national only. The best thing they could have done, universities nyalo bedo kaka ne gina parcha. To gibedo gi satellite campuses. Mano dhi miyo universities develop. Tigeni sani koro gi compete for resources, government bok bring support mang'eny, management poor, monitoring onge, e gimino ka they're struggling. Nairobi, Moi is struggling. Nairobi University is struggling. Kenyatta is struggling. Ibedo ka tuk ka be gomo nyocho gomo kan kachila kira so gomo poko chulge for some time long.
Tuk actually no gomo for almost 3 months.
3 months is struggling. So ibedo ka the big universities gite, they're all struggling.
Education system though.
Yes. And that is a reality. Nikech policies moko nokel mana nokobedo gi vision maduong' mbele. Ne wang'iyo ni wamoro ji niya, watene jo Migori University, watene jo Kikuyu University, watene jo Mabei University kwa more non local university. So that was a big challenge. But now it has happened in one code. Way forward, masani one code.
So what will be the way forward?
What way forward? Number 10, universities gi kata kipenjo gini rongo. Chon kan winjo ni Kenyatta University obango Science and Technology.
Machane Jomo Kenyatta University of Science and Technology. Yes.
Kan winjo Nairobi.
Mano School of Medicine.
Perfect. Kan winjo Moi.
Law and medicine as well.
Maseni in school of what?
Acheke obira nyora adha kodi.
Gani ne Turkana, ano kama munde nyaka Turkana. Turkana, University of what?
Kumana engineer studio graduate cha.
Those are all universities. Kwa hiyo kania the dream marinya themo na de Kenyatta okone. Ana de Kenyatta da somango technology. Ana de JKUAT, ada tim puonj. No ngere ni jo puonj mariek te na ya Kenyatta.
So number one, from what you're telling me, you're saying at least universities must have identity.
They must have identity.
If you're going to Harvard, you know this is a law school.
Yes.
If you're going to, let's say, this prestigious business school is called what? Anyway, so you're saying we must bring identity to universities. That a university is known. If you go to that university, that is creative arts. If you go to this university, this is science and technology.
Correct. So if you go to Kisii University, you're going to do what? General, everything. What is Kisii University known for? At the mention of Kisii University. Rongo. Tomboya. What is the identity? So, that's why you'll find one university has got 1,000 students struggling to pay lecturers, struggling to maintain infrastructural development because university has been localized and the cost of education is expensive. The cost of running an institution, the cost of running a university is not the cost of running a high school.
Now, guys, do you think that these are our schools and university to be precise? A university is supposed to shape you up for now, the actual life. You get out of a university, you're expected you'll have a job, you'll get married, you'll raise a family. So when you get out of a university, you should be well equipped mentally, spiritually, and economically, of course, not. It's sad, our fathers were given boom. They leave the university even economically stable. But that aside, do you think that the courses being offered in our institutions today, are properly backing our society? Because a lot of even employers will say that many a times, 80% of the time, the graduates that they'll absorb come in knowing absolutely nothing. Somebody will become majoring in finance or in accounting. You put them through an accounting department and everything seems like abracadabra, or everything is new for him, or it's like they never even went through. Do you think these courses are connecting well or aligning well with the things we need to do in the outside world?
You see, courses, you see these courses, how the universities are offering them, they are copy pasting. You find now, because Narna University is doing law, Master University is struggling also to compete at the national level, is also introducing law. That's why you will find students graduate after 5 years, but they cannot be registered by the boards, because the university has not been recognized to offer that university. You saw in Masina Muliro sometimes, engineers.
Yeah.
You've gone through 5 years course training. You are a job student. Let's start from there. You are not a regular student. You're not a parallel student. You're a regular student. placed by the government to go and study engineering in Muliro University. After finishing, the same government is telling you, you know what? Yeah, that course is not recognized. That university is not recognized
to do that course.
To do that course. I don't know if yes. You've seen that.
Yes, I've seen it.
So
yes.
back to your question, I want to give a simple example. When we do my time in Moi, you find there's a school of arts offering linguistic and media studies. They're offering film and media studies. There's a school of journalism. There's a mass communication. You see there's journalism. You see all these courses are interrelated.
Yeah, true.
But you'll find them that segments, courses. To me, they're all journalism courses. They're all mass communication courses. Why can't we make the syllabus, or they modify the curriculum so that when you are a journalist student, you study mass, you study film, you study linguistics, so that when you graduate from school, you are ready for the market.
You are well equipped all round.
Yeah, all round.
I get your point. Now, Olamo, you see, you mentioned very well that, and I always wish you well. I say, may God guide you, make it to become a member of County Assembly of Migori. When we have such kind of matters as pregnant issues within our society today, and you're a leader envisaging having an opportunity to lead the people, what does your mind think around all these? Where do you think the gap emanated from, and how can we make sure we don't fall aback going forward? We are in this situation, but we're trying to make them differently.
You know, what is happening is about the policymakers, because they don't think beyond 10 years. You know, when you are doing like now, I'm aspiring, I want to lead for us a certain period, let's say 5 years period. But I must have a projection that the child who is coming in 40 years will get something that I laid foundation on.
Yeah, we'll get a policy which you instigated.
Yes. So, seche mawal also, ma joga ningo bendi bedo gi this kind of projection. Gibed gi long term, oko bed short term, ma it will diminish very fast. Iwinja. So, about our universities, nyocha neno gimoro ma kajo ethics and anti-corruption ne wacho. They have conducted interviews for PhD holders. To kelo barupe, they are joining papers. Tiketo beara, kao papers separate godo the honor. To ki interrogate the honor ti yudoka gima owacho gima paper wacho.
It's not a PhD material.
Yes.
But he has gone and he's been given a PhD document that is a PhD holder.
Yes. In our real life, nyakwagne to how do we impact these knowledges to the common man? Mondo mi kai nyathi wuok acha ten fully baked. Nitiere diere moko ma kane ngato kata University of Nairobi tingeni this is a graduate. To sani the separation kata kidhi gweng inyalo neno ngato ka wuothore wacho ni is in form 4. Nimno ma is a teacher. Nyocha neno TikTok amoro ko ogik ochwado ji staff room. Ochwado nyithindo moko to kogik ochwado nyaka a teacher on training. Koro kaje puonj wadgi kone no you are kenning a teacher. To dako comp he said ne owiye kaka chal.
Japuonjiri garma pogo nyathi
ok koro ok chal. Iwe mane nyathini sechako ochiw mudeko. Koro gima oningo bed ni itimo ni moso education, there's something ni it should be run with technocrats, not politicians.
Thank you.
It should be run with the technocrats.
There are things we can't joke with.
Yes.
Mamero nigi moro kanyo. Kotieko. Society wa nyaka change our mentality.
Yes.
Sani MCA kodo nyagwe. Nyaka uwo. To professor mapunyo na university maron model kodo nyagwe kate liel to fire. So who becomes the role model of nyithindo mobiro e liel society? Professor Yabato on university obiro e gweng' obiro piny. A professor ang'eny fire wan gi professor Ochieng koda nyaliel ka wanene fire.
Maybe the professor is keeping away because the professor have realized the society has gone amok.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why we need to start changing the society, change the conversations, so that we value education. In fact, our politics politics sana luo Nyanza. Everywhere. Obedo run gi money, gi organism. Professionalism, gi somo onge.
Aside.
You're saying that the politics of this country today,
yes,
in your own words,
yes,
is being run by money,
yes,
and hooliganism.
Yes.
There's no actual leadership in it.
Yes.
Kata in kake wacho nani okay. Pokineno ka Ipsos Synovate ogolo duoko ni there's an MP is serving in a second term to pok no go parliament.
There's a lot like that, of course, yes.
Can you put the duoke another term?
Kendi the duoke
somewhere. Haya. 2. What a cow MP makiandiko nyinge they make policy on education. Maketi nyake committee ma education.
Kese joko chair.
Samokara chair ma education committee.
Ni neno gimanyo timore nyocha. The board of engineers obedo chair gi Aisha Juma. A D- graduate.
But I saw this thing. I saw this thing. This country is crazy now.
Ngisania ngama poko nyono university to onge odangi policies mag university now. We can mention them because we've gone through.
No, CJ, the same voters, the same you people will start arguing out at your leadership is not school. You don't need to go to school to become a leader at See, the same people, the same society.
No, what wake up policy making?
But when the policy, you must first of all lead.
Our people's mentality o change mana ka pesa ka ke wugi babu ka dok chien nalo 97 ka dok chien onge ngat mano gingo dinga nyal me certificate kano kosomo.
There's too for virtue, that is true.
Mention na any politician during orgingo dinga sera mane onge education.
No, jo Alego Emmanuel Sawai elect an undergraduate, but Didi. That must have been in 1960s early. Nen Japunen something. I'll get the name. Yeah, no can Japunyo something. Nen no ko dem balarian. The Alego no elect an undergraduate I think once. After that ogiga no actually that cannot.
Kaukara mana 88 Migori, let's say Migori County politics. Dalmas Otieno ne represent Rongo. At some time. Ngambariek.
Neriek, yes.
No can biro Migori. During that time John Pesa no be MP do later but before John Pesa 90 ngane speaker masani koro oyoni Likowa and bank manager no ngambariek ocholo gur nengateri
otwone somo nyake piero admin
kidi kura na wan gi bachage ngambariek. Now who do we have today? Let's go to Anakia somo let's go to Kuria. Matthias is a graduate degree ola japuonj Kitayama
oma degree octel na jope
graduate oka wete la we policy haya koro wawayo degree koro bige telawa angama gitelo ne ngisa bill majo MP ma Migori go presented in National Assembly. Mimingeo.
Do you know it's hard Migori always people joke watching the only time a representative Migori no uoyo then ching ngane nene ndo to chiyo to watching what about Migori, you remember you know the story has it he was actually sleeping when people were
ocholo guro wacho ne ya tie moro ne camera mano make to wacho ni koro kaki wacho gik mageresa kocha andanga wacha
in fact ile no sana
okanende
so far obugi moko bok ni marach moko betemo Junet Mohammed is doing so good at the national level.
Yes.
Okao Migodo Keti national map.
Yes.
Is doing very good at national level in terms of politics.
And you know that's what leadership is about. In fact, CDF ni will cut away.
Senator Odio
They remain to do oversight and policy.
Yeah, our senator is also doing good at the national level.
Eddie is a smart gentleman.
He's doing good.
Eddie is very smart.
Engineer Mark is also doing good. Masara is doing good. Jomoko to cool.
But I want Mark to stop this politics of hooliganism. You know, he's been involved a lot of times. Mark is a young, vibrant leader who can align to proper politics. I don't see need why Mark, who still has life ahead of him, would engage in this hooliganism politics. And I know a couple of times, gisa barenya kabondegi gochilo yake samagine ground. Yes. Why wouldn't Mark, in my view, I think that Mark can decide to engage a different cadre of voters. He doesn't need to talk to voters manyaka de bonde, so that Mark can bring meaningful change. Mark nigi time. But when he engages in similar kind of politics, it means ni kata mana one king, kata lambo mabata. King ne chak luma na the same route. And people like Mark, we expect, namawia like Mark, we expect ni mungu seche ma sani wabedogi change masani chakoni to people. I expect from Migori County to have education at the forefront, to have Mark Nyamita at the forefront. Politics of issues, politics of policies, politics of truth, politics of integrity. But kagibegi biro gichako mana werwo mana the same way. Does it mean we are just going to have endless battles of politicians? Ma leadership will not be actual leadership, but hooliganism, as you put it.
There's something called probability. Ekwan. Probability and how many times is it likely to occur? 1/4, 2/4, something. Mark was how many times? Or say the election how many times?
Second.
Is third time of the election.
2017. Second.
So the question you should ask yourself: in his first term, was there violence? In his second term, did he engage in violence? And now is this third attempt in politics? Is there violence? Now come back to the other opponent.
No, you must see kele godani. Ingeni hooliganism is a two-way thing. Onge kaka nyalo biro otka for the first time and I meet you, then I start just wrapping things anyhow. So nitiere ingene sembe pimo koda nyamin. And onge gima timore atima ma onge gima time. Nyuchi neno diere manyocha wan gi obado sirikal
matiyo.
Inyalo paro gima notimore Migori Stadium gudi katien. Okay, onyatika paro.
Okay, umerekia kana.
Inyalo paro gima notimore ne nyongo gi ne Migori Stadium.
Moninde
bo tent.
So I remember Joe.
Ineno gima timore. En gima trigger violence is what I know about you. En nyaka kunga ngei as my opponent. Mange your history. If you can understand well about the politics of Migori well, when the likes of Oricho was there.
The late Oricho.
Yes, the late Oricho. We know the areas man violent in it here.
Rongoka.
Yes. To people perceive ni dhano ok lokre. To dhano lokore. Ng'ato nyalo bedo ni diere ka ema nobire gi mbino nikech it was working. To sani emo me wacho ni if you are yearning for any leadership, you must be dynamic. Nyakingeni ka which tactic do I apply? How do I go about this?
But we are saying apply any tactic, but not hooliganism.
Politics,
apply any tactic.
Politics,
yes.
The challenge in politics has got no rule, has got no formula. So the means me nyalo score goal. The end result is a goal.
Politics jalogi marriage. Imi certificate kapo.
That's why IBC will tell you now we expecting amada chung governor nyalo tiyo gi billion achiel campaign. While his own actual salary for the 10 years, kata 5 years, 5 or 10 years.
Kata riwogi.
Kata riwogi te.
Okonya gik.
Okonya gik.
Yeah, true. I know that.
So why?
But this can this not change?
So that's I'm telling you, we must first of all set the rules, right? So as long as there's no rule of the game, karasane.
And who is supposed to set this rule?
Says the IBC. And they be strict on the rules. Any form of violence.
Now, just on this election fiasco and matters, huh? I want you guys to give your candid view on. We have different opinion shapers in different social corridors. Some people call them guns for hire. Some people call them bloggers. Some people, I don't know, call them this. Now, I've noticed that the politicians of today and leaders of today are using these guys a lot of times, not for the right reasons. The message they give these guys to constantly send to the common mananchi, is not the actual message that they should be telling people to send. For example, they will trade on tribal card. They will trade on clan card. They will trade on conspiracy theories and stories, and not actually indulge in the actual issues. In a society like this, how do you think we can change from this and be able to probably have the same people spreading the actual true gospel, so that we can have, you say, you mentioned that as a society, our moral compass is equally questionable right now. And we have people who can help us to shape this society. What approach do you think we can have so that we have these people to do what the right thing, you know? We mentioned and said society goes wrong when people who are in positions to act did not act, or people who have voice either did not speak or spoke the wrong things. How can we curb this? I want you to give your views on this. Yes, because I want to assume you equally probably at some point you'll have your bloggers and stuff. How can you change this?
Ineno giman timore in life. The justice system is a two-way sword. And it is, if you check at it, you should see that the sharper side is facing you than the opponent. So when you bring bloggers on board to help you relay your point, ensure professionalism, number one. 2, be with issue-based kind of idea. Give me wachone, and give me you can substantiate. You can stand for it. And you expect the other also can do it to you. Mano is the effect the church in the society. Kani keto nyathi mi brought up in the church, munge norms and all that. The Bible is saying, train up a child how it should be, for him not to depart when he's...
raise a child in the Lord.
Yes.
So that he may not depart
from it at the old age.
Yeah.
Your conscience will remind you. No, the game now you are in is dangerous. Even you.
Yes.
The game now you are entering is risky. Weigh the risk. Vis-a-vis what you are doing and what you are getting in return.
Your view on the same.
You know, in politics, everybody is playing his role.
The
candidate is playing his role as a candidate. The blogger is playing his role as an influencer. Because there are no rules, they have got the security, they call them security officers, offering security, sometimes small beating. Because that's also part of the game.
A small beating.
It's part of the game. Because it has got no rules set aside. And then it has got no formula. As long as you can score and win an election.
No, it has a formula, only that it doesn't have a defined formula.
Yeah, you know that formula, but there are no rules. Because if you stand there today in a the policy,
When you say there are no rules, and we know pretty well that in this country there are electoral rules, what are you talking about?
there are rules governing elections, but not governing the politics that we
The
play.
political process.
Yes, that we play.
But when you have things like how do I put it? This thing that checks on what you're saying, whether it's going to create violence or not, ethics and what committee and stuff. It's called what? This one that's only Caparo was heading at some point.
Hate speech.
The people of hate speech.
Let me
But
tell
those are the rules.
Let me tell you, what is an
Or
hate
that's-
speech? What
or
is an hate
that's-
speech to you
yes.
cannot be an hate speech to me sometimes, because
Hate speech gi free
if
speech chando bago gajika.
if I call you Ondiek, Ondiek Maraj, Ondiek is a bad animal. Figurative language. Troka call Ondiek, you sound can feel good. Doman
Yes, among our peers we call ourselves Ondiek,
Aya.
Omuga.
Aya.
Yes.
Sometimes anya lungeni dilung na meru chata
Yes.
to so I've stayed
Go
in
and
the
call your
village.
mom. Yes.
In the village
Yeah.
is no more.
Yeah, go call your mom.
To Gen Z King is only dilung na meru.
No, ineno.
Para kile kanyo. So, two, the process of conviction Kenya is long. Iketa get speech ka wona the court me bail, cause me bail. Ade yalo maka election room to case poni court. Cases market speech mano bedo records at 2017. I'm very sure there are some which are still active a court to date.
So in what you've mentioned, you're saying all this is just on paper.
Yes.
The policy on paper.
There are rules governing elections, but there are no rules governing politics. How we pay the politics. Dosan wako siasa. Waiko ochalo ni ya. One rules magavan kaka ji practice ka ji gocho onge. To chiengo mpira ne pap final Real Madrid koka firimbi ni team. Are you getting me?
So is this a gap?
A big gap. A very big gap. That's why politicians, they will give tokens to people. They buy them with sukari, kiango, kipeja yosene. Don't chiwo token. I'm a generous man. So to him is generous, but to IBC they call it bribery.
That's bribery, yes.
At what extent? I'll assure you that whatever you gave me made me vote for you.
Yeah, because I can equally take the money and vote
Yes.
elsewhere.
Yes.
It's a gamble.
Yes.
So if this is a gap, who should fix it?
So the reason why this gap cannot be filled, players cannot set their own rules that will prohibit them from playing. They will always be silent on it. That's why they will create this gap to benefit them. Dongebunge melo so chike.
Yes.
To ginyalo so chike gi.
So are you saying this ambiguity in this country or these bureaucratic processes is created for a reason?
Yes.
Because
And I can
just on the same point, I'm sorry for this. I've never understood myself. You know, China, people regard China as a very stringent country because of stories we had about Mao Zedong, you remember? And having read and studied the story revolving around China, I understood probably some of the reasons why Chairman Mao had to do the things he did. For example, first, he made sure that the Chinese people had an identity to their country. You know, between the period of 1945-49 and up till about 60 or 69, 70 thereabout, do you know there was no getting in and coming to China and going out. He closed it. And the Chinese people were staying in their country. What he did, he looked for the students that had gone abroad. You know the similar method Tom Mboya used. Even Chinese had students studying abroad. He brought them in, helped in policy, stayed within China to instill the aspect of this is my country, this is my land. The thing I am doing is for my country, and it will be here to stay for generations and generations to come. For the people who experienced that particular thing, maybe it was bad for them. They suffered somehow, all right? But if you look at China today, it's very beautiful.
Correct.
They came up with, this is where we want to go as a people. This is what we want to do for our people. And they stuck to the plan, and they made sure that they did whatever it is to shape up their country. Why can't we do the same?
That's the big question. You see, as I want to respond to that before my brother gives more insight to it, we create these gaps to benefit financially, these loopholes. You see, even this process of auditing, calling governors to Senate, or MCS calling governors for verification of budget, all these things are just processes. They're not being implemented. It's just a process that now the Senate, you have to come to Senate to appear before Senate committee. Since when?
It's a routine.
It's a routine.
That's sad, bro.
So these Senate committee reports, where are they? Where are their recommendations? Which action have been taken against them?
So all this is done and kept in a shelf somewhere.
It is a process. So you mentioned some policy somewhere. Do you know the process of making a policy? That's where we get it wrong. I'm a policy maker. The first stage of making a process of a policy is that there must be a problem.
Yeah, true. You identify a problem
You
first.
identify the problem first. Like now, we've identified that there's a problem with our political process, not electoral process.
No, the political process.
Political process.
Yes, I agree. The election process is not a problem in
It's a
this
problem.
country. The political process is.
Yes.
Yes.
We've identified that as a problem. Now, as policymakers have identified this particular problem, they should go to the initiation stage.
Maybe we should ask the aspirant. Have you realized that the political process in this country is a problem?
It is. Nyocha aneno gimoro. I saw it, I think, in the social media, that the Attorney General has been instructed to come up with a law to govern the political rallies and their timelines and when they should start.
Yes, I saw that as well.
I saw some times back when Governor Nyong'o was saying, but then he was not a governor, he was saying if you go to South Africa, politics is a 1 year thing. But in Kenya, the moment we are from election, we start politics. To remove these leaders. We have not given them time to serve.
To work, yes.
Or to familiarize themselves
And
with
they
the
start
officers.
singing one term.
Yes, wewe unaendelea.
kasongo.
Kila mtu ako juu ya gari.
Wewe muongo.
Yes, kila mtu ako juu ya gari. So all these things.
The other year before we came to Wewe Kasongo,
Yes.
it was Wewe maliza uende.
Maliza
Rudi
unaona
Joeri.
unasikianga sipangwingwi.
Tipangwingwi.
Yes.
Okay.
So all these things, and the good thing, these people who are coming with these
narratives.
These agendas,
Slogans, yes.
the slogans, they are very wise and timely.
That's smart. Yes,
They are very smart. Yenye ukisikia unaona tu unaingia tu una fall. But there was a day when somebody was in parliament and he said there is no law which does not exist.
Because they're the same people who are there, they can create those laws.
The agenda on the table by then was how to increase the salary of the MPs. They said there is no law that doesn't exist, and if that law it does not exist, then they have no duty to be in parliament. Mana gigwere gisara serem until they added the salary for themselves. When it reached to their class, there's no party whatever separation.
They're all friends.
They speak as an house.
As a unit.
But when it comes to the common man, they speak differently.
But do you think the common man knows this information you're telling us now?
Ingeni anga wache ni is it upumbavu ama ujinga? They know, but they assume they don't know. They know very well. Ingeni ngani tokumadhiye.
So these are the times we quote the Bible and say, God saying, my people will perish because of
lack of knowledge.
Because of ignorance. Yes.
What politicians do, they excite the people. They don't incite the people. They excite. You remember electrons?
Yeah,
the physics.
Yes.
So because the mass is excited, that's why they will sing all the songs in praise of the politician who was excited them. That's why they can even kill someone. Someone who is excited, just even a small kid, if you excite that kid,
he gets ignited fully
fully
charged.
Now, with what you've mentioned, So technically we've been having politics of emotions.
Yes, it is emotions. They get emotions. They drive emotions. In fact, policy of Kenya is driven by emotion. That's why so and so is a good orator. So and so is not a good orator. Ngani cho go siasa nge wuyo. Koma ko microphone. Odimo wach. Watch policy. Policy
ne waduki back to Nyatike. There was a time we had this guy Polycarp Ochilo Hala.
Nge Polycarp. He's a professor, don't he?
Yes. When Polycarp came in Nyatike politics, by then I was in primary.
No, America secheka.
I was in primary.
I remember well.
Anyalo paro no biro bolo primary koro chieng' moro okete o. Ma Mr. Koto the late no wacho ni I've never met a man like this. Kano mako Kiswahili tiwe ni ene wala bin wala. To ko wacho Kisungu to flow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah?
Yes.
Binge gimano o fellow Polycarp Ochilo.
Onge pesa.
Ok pesa. There was a meeting he called at Matoso Silod of Nyatike elites. Ko ngato konge ngane ki ngonge dholuo yodeno. Jitene wacho Kisungu. Kanye kuma ne meeting o collapse. Tingini by then his competitor was Ocholo Gur.
Yeah.
And Ocholo Gur came obiro gi kode moro ngene wacho ni okeo godemba. To wacho njo Nyatike kwa ungono. Ayene ndo mondo chwada. Kana timo maraj. Could you know that kind of winning heart? In any this guy is humble. But the guy is only tactical.
It's all emotions.
So let me ask you, now that you've mentioned this, don't you think this leaves the voters defenseless?
The voters are already fragile. They're fragile in terms of poverty level margin.
Yes.
Kuro ngata di rally with an open yang odu oiru sukari moro odhi go kanyo oranjo kore ot.
Alofugi mogo.
Inyalo paro ka nyango donjo.
Anyanga wunot.
Anyanga wunot. Mo wacho ni angocha ni okaero ka jogorwa kangolo ni. Angocha ni nyalo pidho Nyatike.
Mara ni
nyalo pidho Nyatike gadi. To tiega acha kende. And ingeni secheka anyanga no donjo gi hooliganism mane wacho cha. Kendo no threatened ji.
Kendo ji no accept.
Ji no neno ni ya. Is the man of the day.
Ngama thuon moro.
Be kaka ni wacho
ngama thuon. Ma ngadi rito. Okodwar ngama dhi gi nene. Kano lao wakili no Okongo, Kennedy Okongo. Dono lao nyake Pierrot. Nyake Pierrot dala ne. Anyanga lawe.
So iwacho ni jopinye mosekelo kotho go gi gin giwegi.
Jo siasa mose create a situation mume jopiny obedo gi that effect. Kech sane ingene ngiso gaji pile. Kingiyo hierarchy of human wants mar dhano. They're the basic needs.
Then
there's security.
Yes.
Then there's actualization.
So no self-actualization.
No, there's actualization. Self-actualization.
Direka ilungo ni R&D mostly. You develop yourself so that you're now in a portfolio more maloka. Then number 7, self-actualization. Yes.
So ka ngiso ji ni gini ngamusa thoni baba ronge gwengi tonge.
Aonge.
To ji thoni ketine ko ji. So the first policy of the government karaje samora mora is to ensure that everybody mankind
food, shelter, clothing.
Food, shelter, clothing. How many policies karaki penjo county governments kata wabunge? What have you done to ensure that you give
food, shelter, clothing. Guys, time is getting out of my director is telling me we need to wind up. But before we wind up, I want us to talk about this briefly because you've said the most basic thing that a leader needs to ensure is in place is food, shelter, the very basic. So that at least a human being can live with dignity.
Yes.
Okay? Now that you've mentioned this, and for the longest time in this country, to a point we are forgetting there are things like KEFIS exist, KEMRI, KEFRI.
Correct. Come there.
We are forgetting that these things exist. These were things that were set up to help us in science, and agriculture.
And research.
And research.
And research.
Those are how countries are developed. You research on this sorghum of mine. Does it have enough nutrients? What can be added to it? This tomato of mine, can it survive the current weather conditions? What can be done to it? These trees of ours, are they sucking too much water from the ground? You know, these kind of institutions and government departments were set up in place to ensure these kind of basic things are well in place, right? But for the longest time in this country, I have not heard any policy that revolves around food security. Don't you feel that this is wrong and it's a failed nation if we are in this direction? Because number one, before you can even grow, you start with agrarian revolution. You must have food first. Then you have surplus that you can sell. Then from when the surplus that you've sold, you can use the money to acquire other labor to build other things. You understand? So do you think that with this kind of situation and the way we are going, is there any hope with the same people, or can we make can we make a stand decision and say enough is enough and change all this and go back to the real things that needs to be addressed in this country? Your thoughts as we close.
Aparo ni kumakoth gowago. And in as much as we blame those who are on the mantle, but nyakwa blame these people down here. Iwinjo. En sani koyiera Pielo Lumumba nowache ni being that you are elected, there's no additional or monopoly of knowledge you have over these other people.
Yeah, true.
There is a time minyalo dhi misik idea ni omera, I want to go make a policy on education. My thought is this, but I want you to frame it in a way that it suits the nini and it will sell through. So the common man, a man ni gini sani in mondo mi ngato bima change your thought is not easy. Unless you have fixed your own mind, mondo mi atigi mind ni mondo mi a change, a reverse, but it cannot never change. You will just cheat me, ni ingeni jatelo, and you pamper me, and things go that way.
Yes.
But the truth is, as a human being, you should have some principles to guide you. King, how things are going. Things are moving very fast, at a rapid speed. Nyalong yu chien kacha, kanyo cha mama ugi wane preserve kudi. Niketo gi oyare. Dhie jikond ma imeru kanyo tiyudo bel,
Yes.
kochwo.
Gato
duma. To kata ka gi oseng'e ni our time for plantation ikore, tichak iki gi maol gi buru and all that.
Yes.
Ji ikore ni keta ng'owa?
Kodhi.
To sani, ichako ni tap, yaringo dhuom na kodhi duka. Me kaka ji emo donjo. To ingeni seche ma, let's say ni I'm in charge. Donje county assembly oyiera gine ne kamati mar agriculture.
Committee mar agriculture.
Mar agriculture. Power from above. Because we want you to regulate. Below talked of it, ni kuyiero president yudoka people like Bill Gates and nani wanakuja huku kwetu kutuambia, if you want money in education, behave this way. If you want this. So, kaka leaders wabedo compromised, malika wabedo compromised page. And therefore, one lose the sense of saying the wrong and the right. Mane kumane sije wacho ni sani kadhi e ground wadhi liel kata dala kocha. To owadwa achiel is a professor. Maybe is earning 70,000 or 80,000. And I'm NCA, I'm earning 100 or 120. And nitiere gi surplus moro nitiere mabiro mawiye. Koro ineno ni an man more knowledgeable than this.
Nikech pesa wuoyo.
The power of influence.
Your thoughts, CJ?
Koro, I want to take you back on two issues, the policy machono.
Yes.
Kane education policy man wango bene secure food security chon. Kane wasomo wangi 4K club. Ne wan gi puodho e schools mane ji puro. Kiduogo dala nyathi school in gi kidhi kaneru miye gwen ipidho food security. In gi diel moro kanyo ipidho kuom baba uto magi be kwayo kanyo food security. Mama upidho nduma gine rabolo kia budho to kot kanyo ikonye ng'iyo. That was food security at that level. So that is now gone. Kata dek. That is now gone.
4K Club died.
Nyathi masani dongo i computer, gi TikTok, everything. Agriculture ne is dead. That system is gone. 2, government policies. Kaka ne wacho. Research is octane. Well, research should be on continuous process. Kata mana chon kane wadongo. No one jo KEBS nyake gwen kocha. Gibiro gipimo gik moko. Wait.
That is true. Tinde gionge. Ananeno ja KEBS god kwach. Bana ngiye kuma god kwach nitie. And they used to come nitira piko serikal ma kata mor nene wange ni mata piko serikal.
The police bureau.
Yes. So that thing is gone. Quality assurance. Ngikare puonjo chon. Ne ngama lich makano bire school ni cheko skunde performance. That thing is gone. Go back to your question.
And you will come to school, I think, once every month.
Check only the
you used to come and sit in a classroom, and the teacher was teaching. I remember.
You remember that?
Very well, yes.
That's now quality is gone. Onge anymore. Kata promotion give based on quality. A recommendation by the education officers. Back to your question. Research institutions gisani gitembo. Even at the mention of their name, choni punjo gi school, idongo kingiyo ni Kefri nango, chung nango.
Yes.
Idongo Kemri chung nango.
Inge Kefis nango.
Isepe chung nango. Ilri nango.
But there, I happen to be lucky. I worked in Isepe myself.
Isepe.
Yes, I did.
That institute? Something.
Center of International Center of Insect Physiology and Entomology. Yes.
So today, nyathi masani dongo kata keni kiko chung ne giango. So we need to revise and change our policies to empower. Ango ma inform ni koro wakel GMO. It should be research. Ango ma inform ni koro wamany manure wa import manure from Russia.
Ngeni kata GMO mi jisiko luongo ni GMO. We need to tell people ni GMO na it simply means genetically modified organism. Okdi
ogimaraj. But now, research mo team kumoro. Koro wa copy paste kocha wakeleka.
Okodo ni Kefis otemeka. Okodo ni Ilri otemeka.
And
ko wake America, okuchonya ko wake Africa.
Because probably kata soil, climate, everything
opogore.
Awinji.
That's why China chamo thuol, ono ko cham thuol.
On this agriculture, I'm sorry. You know, you've mentioned something more. 4K Club. Maybe a paro na chien sana. There was also something manana nuka kwerewa manatema. Gidewa. Nilongo ni rotational farming. Inyalo fara gicha.
Rotational farming. Season ne
apuro ko.
Netimedere.
Yes.
Netimedere. Achiel ni puro doma. Kone. To ka doma season no rumo. To season machielo.
Ipo loganda kanyo.
Ipo gala.
Ama bel.
Ipuro bel.
Yes.
Oganda ne dego doma dichiel. But ko kamar gino igolo. Igolo another crop. Samori keto marieba. Ori keto.
Kata njugu.
Cassava. Iketo gino ne Rabon.
Ite mojo ni kara kwiri wana riek molo kata leaders mon ko san.
Joka kanu. Donge mpolo ne wacha nia. Koth ko chiegni chwe. Waloso puothe
ne gingo kata lo.
Puothe loso nango. Kingiyo kaka ne puothe. Ni beta le. Ma wango yugi. Ma pur ko mondi. Ma koth chwe.
Ma weyo lende.
Basti weyo ichaki duge yore.
No kuok.
Ikaw manyiwa chi dhok te mane depo te.
To ni olo kanyo sama no kuok e pur mokuongo no. Iume gi lume
no. To basi duge yore. Kose yore ko ikomo.
Bengeni bana chon kane wadongo to nyako buolo ni puodho. Tinde ngeno buolo unge puodho. And that's an indication that soil is no longer fertile. Kine obuolo puodho, it means that soil is already rotten.
We kata buolo. Apotha ni. Donge ni ngwedo gi puodho.
Junta.
Ine dhie agrovet. Ing'iew DAP. We kata kodhi ing'iew DAP. Ang'amo ng'isi ni DAP no. Dhi donjo gi soil magweng'u. DAP ko work in Central, for example, or ko work in Kadem.
That is true.
So
because soils opogore.
So these research institutions should be empowered
To CJ, we have Ministry of Agriculture. We have, I want to believe ni nitiere nyaka agricultural officers iluongo ni technicians e ground.
Yes.
Idwa nyisa ni ok giti tinde.
Ng'iya ne budget mo mi agriculture, ineno ko to okay, omi top beneficiaries mag budget. Did you see agriculture? So
Naneno lweny.
So
in other words, agriculture ni wanege. Then if you kill agriculture,
wawene counties. Kidhi county idachiwo kodhi once after 5 years. Kendo sama gichiwo gunde moko abich kata par moko, tigo koko kendo ko ndurunde kendo ko nyaka picha. To koro go picha no, chaki chiwe next kana. Tichiwe bende ka kodho serum.
Ken late. So deliberately these guys want us to go without food so that we are able to beg.
If I become a governor today, what I will do? The agriculture. Kendo my last mimi madawacha tatiek. Agriculture today, kabedo minister mar agriculture kata bedo governor mami Migori County. Number 2, habiro ng'iewo tractors in each and every ward. Mar pur. Gin 40. King'iewo 140 wards. And average of the tractor maximum is 10 million.
No. Our tractor is 3.5 million.
It's 2 million, 2.5
let's say plus
let's just use 100 horsepower. If I'm confirming here that a tractor is 3 million shillings, 100 horsepower. So let the governor not come and tell you that he wants to get tractors 10 million.
3 million times 40.
120 million.
120 million only. And each and every ward has a tractor.
So it means we can have solutions if we want to.
Yes. 120 million, each and every ward has a tractor. What I do, I have a negotiation with the owner of the farm. Hey, do you want to farm? Do you want to plow your farm? No. Now, if you can't do it, the government is going to do it for you. Your work is to monitor and maintain.
Yes.
So at the end of the season, the government will take 40% or the government will take 60%, you take 40% because you're the owner of the land. So after the harvest, chamu wuke 40% away ni marupu. 60% mar produce mwagolono. Government cow.
No, when you start bringing in such kind of policies, will you not be blamed by the big master that we are bringing communism to Africa?
No. In fact,
because I'm told when the government is involved in production, that will in turn become communism.
In terms of production, this production is not commercial production that I do. I do production to help the need. Some season they might take.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just
I'm doing this on behalf of the people. One of the functions of government is to offer food security to my people.
Yeah, true.
How do I offer the food security to my people? Nia apuro sama chamo chiek 40% away yoni. Sama oro the biro makoko the puro manengo the 100 ma import cha.
Iduoko ne.
Instead of importing cha, kora golo ne gyami yogi.
Iduoko ne japi.
Aduoko ne japi. So that they don't import.
That's a brilliant thought.
Inyalo paro our last discussion.
Yes.
I told you about the seed disbursement. We talked of it here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, over here in Tiadero.
Yeah.
We never discussed this with CJ, and he can tell you. The thing is, what our people are receiving or our people are being given is plastic. We are not after nebe kan wagolo kodhi to kwatimo harvest bwanyalo timo audit mwaneni adieri kodhi manyo wagolo nyokonyo jowa ken oduma ilongo kata PDK man CJ chiwo ingene the soil textile in awendo upogore gi meoro.
Yeah, that's very true.
The soil pH in Kuria is different with the soil pH in Sori. Whatever you do, tianani wawe kuru timo gik moko ni watimo gini is a matter of showing. We are in a society my is copy and paste. You have seen something working somewhere, you are bringing it without doing proper taking
due diligence.
Yes. Mineni gini kakele karato behave mopogore. Sani agriculture moko cha wuoth around negi chiwo koth ginene. Koth rabolo ma can do well in arid and semi-arid areas. Iwinja. Nyakwa tim research mwange nea. When I'm giving you kodhi mar 100,000, nyaka neni kiduogo ya ipuodho mane sije wecha. Tiyudo the value. ma imbi ikonyori.
There's
To
return on
wawe kao
investment.
pesa jopiny, ing'eni pesa kubire county, sani dong ineno ka jakom wacho wach CDF.
Yes.
I agree with him to some extent mondo miduogi kata e sub ginene a ward level. Nikech seche go ward is small.
We will discuss
but
the CDF.
Bring that CDF next.
Yes.
But now
in the next discussion, can we guys discuss this CDF
Yeah,
extensively?
It's
a topic. It's a topic that people really want to talk about. So before we forget, let's CDF finish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, mana pata explain mana policy cha. Counties ibiro ngata emiyo bag achiel mar kodhi. Bag ariyo, bag ariyo ok nya konyo japur. So what you do, ngato nega ko half an acre.
yes.
Ngato nega quarter an acre. Ngato nega 10 acres. So sama sekro tinga cha ward. To ka no biro puro e gweng no.
Te ong'eni opugro ekari jadi.
Ekare joka riwore te kaka gin e area no. Kata kane abiro era ujelo nao. Owich. Kano wich, what admin makanyo oseset date chieng mipure ere ma wich no. To tinga kine pur ndala deko wich kanyo. Utieko wich.
That's true.
Odhi kendo ward machie, odhi kendo area machielo. Iwinya to bring food security.
Mondo kik wabed ni puothe nindo.
Kemi puothe nindo.
Kik wabed ni jowa nigi puothe ma oninda. They must produce. When they produce king gin gi chiemo, it means ni he will save on money he would have used to nyiewo oduma.
Correct. Imports what they duoko piny.
Then it means ni the disposable income within people's pocket they medore. Then king it means ni when somebody has enough disposable income, they'll be able to save. In turn, there'll be good cash flow in the economy. In turn, people will be able to grow and develop. So, bottom line, if we have proper policies and work is done, we can see meaningful change. Ok moro michuno wa gineno githuon. Ma igo picha githuon mondo wane githuon. Change will be felt. You don't need to tell me and convince me that there's change. Eruru kamano. Parting shot, gentlemen. We know the state of this country. We know the things the way they are happening. Whether good or bad, we know. Where they are happening and they are good, I must mention here on this show today, I agree strongly that affordable housing is a good thing, but should be managed properly. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we welcome you to Tiedero. It takes a conversation between me and you, and your brother and your sister, and your mom, your cousin, hi cousin, so that we are able to change the narrative of this country. We are able to change the future of this country. The same way you guys were able to hold Hanifa accountable, the same way you guys were on Eric Omondi's neck to be accountable for the donations being done for Albert, is the same way I want you to hold your MCA accountable. The same way I want you to hold your MP accountable. There's information everywhere. You can access information. Let's have facts and hold these guys accountable over our finances and our resources. This way we can change this country. Forget the tribal rhetorics. Forget the who did what where rhetorics. What is of importance is this. We know what the law says. We know what the Constitution says. If someone is given a portfolio, should govern within the law. That is what we need to check. That is what we need to track. That is what we need to talk about. Not somebody coming from I don't know which corridor. Not somebody being Masai. Not somebody being Luo. Not somebody being Kikuyu. We are beautiful in our diversities. What makes Kenya beautiful is those diversities. Let us structure ourselves in a way that our diversity becomes our strength and we grow as a nation. Once again, at Tiedero, bring the good thoughts, bring the good ideas, bring the good policies. Let's all discuss. Let's all talk. I know we'll make Kenya great. Thank you. Welcome again.